Authorities are offering some simple advice: stay home. For the most part, roads in the local Channel 11 viewing area are simply deserted, including our interstate highways. Governor Casey ordered all of the interstates, including the Turnpike, I-79, I-70, and I-80, closed earlier today. State police are patrolling the roads looking for stranded motorists. But earlier, drivers that ventured out, well, they did run into plenty of problems. Some cars were at a virtual standstill with tires spinning in the snow. Even a Pat bus got stuck and had to stop its route. Pat eventually just stopped making the runs. And the T that runs between the South Hills Village and Station Square, well, that stopped running as well. Each time the snowplows would clear the roads, the snow would simply keep on covering them up very quickly. Well, our weather forecasters are tracking the storm, teamed up with the Carnegie Science Center. Kevin Benson, who started our weather coverage on Channel 11 News Saturday morning, will join us in just a few minutes. Dennis Bowman is on duty as well. Dennis, what is the latest on Blizzard 93?
Margaret, I tell you, this is more than just your average snowstorm. We've been watching this thing all day, and it's like watching a hurricane. Look at this thing build and just flow right up top of Pittsburgh here. The barometric pressure readings have been so low near the center of this storm that the average barometer that you have there at home, for example, wouldn't even register it. 28.51 inches of mercury near the center of the storm. And this thing has just been hammering us all day long with lots of snow. Now, if I were you sitting there watching this telecast, I'd be asking two questions. Number one, how much more are we going to get? And number two, when is it all going to stop? So why don't we cut right to the chase and address those two issues here. First of all, we expect another 4 to 6 inches of snow. That's how much more will fall between now and midday. And that basically is when the blizzard is going to end late morning tomorrow with some light snow continuing into the afternoon. So another 4 to 6 inches in the overnight period and some very gusty winds. The most snowfall in one day, the record had been 22 inches on December 17th in 1890. That has now fallen by the boards with today's storm. We're up to about 24 inches now. And the most in one storm, 27.4 inches of snow. And that was spread out over 3 days in November in 1950. And it looks like we're going to take a shot at that here in the overnight period. We'll talk again with a full report a little bit later on. Let's get back to Margaret.
Okay, thanks very much, Dennis. We will have an update on the forecast from the Carnegie Science Center. That will be coming up later on the night beat. Also, Kevin Benson, he's going to be live outside. That's right, outside in just a few minutes to tell us about all of the snowy conditions. Well, in light of all of this, Allegheny County has set up a command post in Pittsburgh's Strip District.
Some of the faces of Blizzard 93, a desolate downtown, stranded vehicles buried in white. A few, however, still crawl along, but only with extreme caution. Meanwhile, PennDOT crews continue their assault, focusing on clearing out interstates, including Pittsburgh's parkways, all in an attempt to merely stay ahead of the snowfall and to keep these main arteries open for emergency vehicles. Side streets and roads, on the other hand, remain extremely hazardous in some places. All in all, though, once daylight ended, motorists apparently took heed in all the warnings and, for the most part, are staying home. But for those who aren't, now, believe it or not, there are those braving the Arctic-like temperatures on foot. For example, Paul Connors and Christine Nordic here in Perrysville.
The car is buried and we didn't feel like digging it out.
So you're doing a walk?
Yeah.
Where are you heading?
Down to Dad's house. Make sure they're all right down there.
I kind of like it. My boss called me and told me I didn't have to come into work tomorrow, so I'm in a good mood.
With me now is Bob Croner, Police Chief for Allegheny County, and I guess you are coordinating the emergency services. What are some of the problems people are experiencing at their homes now?
Our biggest problems have been power outages, Pete. We've had about 3,000 people without power at one time or another today, and the utility companies have done a very good job of getting them restored rapidly. Fire is one of the things that we dread the most, and we have 214 volunteer fire companies who have people manning stations so that they can notify us if they have something that would get out of control and need our help. We also have people who have medical problems, and Dr. Dixon in the health department and Joe Moses have been providing four-wheel drive vehicles so that we can get them to and from the hospitals.
How are you staffing the operation inside here?
Up there, we're very fortunate. The Red Cross has responded. The emergency medical people have responded. The health department with Dr. Dixon, our own emergency management people, and Joe Moses has his people up there.
Real quick, in a word or two, what advice do you have for people watching now?
Stay home, don't go out if you don't have to, and call us if you have any problems that we can help you with.
Interstate 80, 79, and I-70 all closed through traffic by order of the governor of the state of Pennsylvania. It's a snow emergency. That's your latest Metro traffic update. Carol Finelli, Channel 11 News.
A lot of information we are passing along to you tonight, but perhaps no place the storm has hit harder is at Pittsburgh International. The new airport is also shut down. Our Jennifer Ankoviak has been with the travelers who are stranded at the airport. She joins us now with the very latest. Jennifer.
Hi, Margaret. I'm here with 5,000 stranded travelers, stranded because of this horrible, horrible weather outside. It's been a long day, it's late, and most people here are doing exactly what these folks behind me are doing, trying to find a place to settle in for the evening. The airport has been doing a real good job of trying to keep everybody here as comfortable as possible. No flights have come in or gone out of Pittsburgh International since about 2 o'clock this afternoon. With around 2 feet of snow on the ground and high winds, only one runway is open for emergencies. The thousands of stranded people are trying to make the best of it. This woman should be in Cancun right now.
I guess we're stranded here. We were going to get a motel, but there's no shuttle buses, no nothing running, so we're stranded here till tomorrow morning.
The Grace family should be at Grandma's in Florida.
I was going to swim in their pool, have fun and have treats and watch movies.
Are you upset that you can't get there tonight?
Yes, but I'm going tomorrow.
And some frightening moments for this man who realized he was stuck here without his heart medication.
Wondering what was going to happen, because he may not have been able to get the medicine until tomorrow, who knows. And so you kind of think about it, but glad it's over anyway, at least I have it.
A local hero tonight getting this man's medicine back to him. Tell me about your trip and what happened.
It was in a call of duty. Tom Long, my supervisor, told me to proceed over to the Holiday Inn to ask his wife for the medicine, and we did what we had to do and just try to make everybody safe.
What are people doing tonight? Well, some restaurants are open, so some are eating. Most have set up areas for themselves to call home for tonight. The ordeal is a real test for this new $1 billion facility.
We talked about that last year, about getting ready to move into the new facility. And we were hoping that we'd have a couple small storms to get ready. Well, as you remember, we had a rather large storm in December. And here we are, our first year of operation, the biggest snow we've probably had since 1950. So, one, we have a lot of capable people, but certainly it's really giving them a real heart-to-heart kind of test.
Indeed, a real test, and so far, again, they've been doing everything that they can to make sure that everybody here is comfortable. We are going to be spending the night here along with these 5,000 stranded people. We will keep you updated on the situation on tomorrow's newscast, Sunday morning. We will tell you about what it was like to spend the night here under these kind of conditions. Reporting live from Pittsburgh International, Jennifer Ankoviak, Channel 11 News.
A very good reporter, Jennifer. I'm wondering, when are things going to get moving out there?
Well, Margaret, that is the big question right now. Everybody wants to know. I talked with a U.S. Air official a little earlier this evening. The official word I got from him was he's going to shoot for about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Check the conditions then. I said 3 o'clock, and people are applauding already. They're happy here, but they're ready to get out. They're shooting for 3 o'clock tomorrow. We're just going to see what happens with this weather.
Okay, so certainly not first thing in the morning then.
Definitely not, unfortunately.
Okay, thanks very much. Jennifer Ankoviak reporting live tonight from Pittsburgh International, where, as you heard it, she and 5,000 others will be spending the night. They are stranded. The National Coast Guard has been called in to help some areas hard hit by the storm. We've been in contact with the State Police and Channel 11 News Radio Network. In Butler County, medics are now patrolling the turnpike from Exit 4 to Donegal Township. They are helping stranded motorists. In Washington County, the National Guard has moved in to assist stranded motorists, and the fire departments are removing people from the Mon Valley Expressway and Route 43. PennDOT is asking everyone with a road grader there to come to help clear the roads. Armstrong County is asking the same thing of the residents there. And the Guard is also patrolling in Fayette, Greene, and Westmoreland counties, looking for people who are stranded and may need some help. Well, don't be surprised tomorrow morning if there isn't a local paper like this one on your doorstep. At least one area paper, the Post-Gazette, is having problems getting its paper delivered. Now, the Post-Gazette ordered all of its delivery drivers to come to work, but the drivers used their own cars, and so many found themselves stuck in the snow. The paper then told the drivers not to report to work. Well, the PG just told us there will not be any home deliveries tomorrow morning. By the way, if you look at this paper, you wouldn't have updated information on the snowstorm. The front page of the final edition that we have here says that Governor Casey is considering declaring the state of emergency. As we've been telling you here all day since 4 o'clock this afternoon, the governor has already declared a state of emergency. One more thing we'd like to pass along to you. We got a call from the Pittsburgh Catholic Diocese. Special word tonight from the bishop. He is saying that Catholics are not obligated to go to Mass this weekend. That is, of course, due to Blizzard 93. Well, Channel 11 News is working under its snow emergency plan to bring you the very latest details on this big blizzard. After this newscast ends, we want you to stay tuned for news and weather updates through the evening on your only 24-hour news source. We'll also have news crews throughout the night working, and we'll be back with a complete coverage. We'll have our full show tomorrow morning as Lori Savage, Kevin Benson, and News Team 11 brings coverage at 8 a.m. We'll also continue throughout the morning. That's all ahead on Channel 11 News coverage of Blizzard 93. Well, News Team 11 continues right now here in just a few minutes. We'll be continuing to update the weather forecasts with the help of the Carnegie Science Center.
I'm Kevin Benson. I'm live outside the Channel 11 studios. The wind is still gusting along. We're coming right back with a live report to give you a feel for just what's happening outside, and it's a bone chiller out here. My live report is coming up next when Channel 11 News Night Beat continues. Stay with us.
Channel 11 News Night Beat continues live from Television Hill with Margaret Shortridge, Derek Gunn with sports, and Kevin Benson with Carnegie Science Center weather. You are watching the station voted best in the state by the Associated Press. Channel 11 News Night Beat.
But that task could be deadly. We'll tell you how to protect yourself ahead on the Night Beat.
But we offer a 24-hour cancellation guarantee. So you can cancel in one day, not 1 year. But you know what? You won't want to. People stick with us because they're not stuck with us. Prudential Preferred Realty. Real estate agents who make a real difference.
Trouble waking up? Bob Evans' new breakfast breaks ought to help. Home-style, homemade, fresh-cut, quick-served, and priced real low. Get a break on breakfast with Bob Evans Breakfast Breaks. 10 breakfasts for $2.99 and under. Weekday mornings till 11. Yep, that'll get you going. Home-style, homemade, fresh-cut, quick-served, and priced real low. Hey, where'd you go? Thought so. Bob Evans Breakfast Breaks. Bob Evans at breakfast time.
When the opening bell sounds for Pittsburgh business, read the business writer that Pittsburgh business leaders read. Jack Markowitz, the premier writer on the Pittsburgh business scene for over 30 years. Jack Markowitz, insightful, accurate, informative, part of the colorful Pittsburgh coverage Markowitz you get only in the Tribune Review. Get all the color of Pittsburgh news and features every day, only in the Tribune Review.
All day long, we've been telling you to stay inside, and it really is the best advice. But we want to show you just what it looks like outside, and so we've sent Kevin Benson out into the blizzard, and he is live just outside of the Channel 11 studios. Kevin.
Margaret, you and Dennis stay indoors. I'll handle the tough stuff out here, okay? Out here where it's cold and windy and really blowing around out here, folks. Wind gusts are gusting as high as 40 miles per hour. It looks like the snow has let up somewhat, but I wanted just to give you a feel for what's happening out here. Earlier today, we were showing you some of these snow drifts out here, and we still have plenty of snow drifts, even though we've been trying to plow the Channel 11 parking lot to have a place for our employees that are trying to make it to work to get here. Here's just an example of one of the drifts here. Let me find the highest part of it. Of course, we have a heavy yardstick here, 36 inches worth, and that just about swallows it all up right there. There's about a 30-inch drift for you currently. And as I mentioned, the wind continues to blow. We have drifts here high atop Television Hill just in our parking lot. Imagine what it's like out in some of the rural outlying areas where the wind is just blowing along, and as soon as the plow goes by, the wind just blows the road shut again. So Needless to say, what we want you to do is stay home. If you don't have to go out, please stay indoors. Another quick thing I want to show you is over here, Paulie, if we can take a look. This is going to be a familiar sight also. You can see how the wind has just kind of swept the parking lot clean here after the plow has gone by, but that'll be a familiar sight right there. Big piles of snow where the snow plows have plowed parking lots across the region, so you will be seeing those probably for most of the week. Dennis is going to have a complete forecast coming up. First thing we're concerned about is snow and how much is going to continue to fall. He'll talk about that. Secondly is the wind, because the wind is not only blowing and drifting the snow, but it's also causing some extremely frigid and dangerous wind chills. And the other thing is, folks, if you have some respiratory problems or you're getting a little older, don't kill yourself shoveling snow. Leave that to the young people. Just don't be bothered with it. Don't kill yourself shoveling snow, because you know every year you hear about people that are having heart attacks because they're out there trying to be shoveling. So please, we want to make that reminder to you. Dennis has a Carnegie Science Center forecast coming up. Margaret, it's cold out here. I'm coming back in. Let's go back inside to you.
Okay, smart move. Get in here. Thanks, Kevin.
Okay.
Well, if you're thinking of getting up in the morning and shoveling your driveway, Kevin said don't, and we'll have more information about that. Some very important information for your health that you should know. It's ahead in our coverage of Blizzard 93.
And yes, I'm Dennis Bowman, still here, still on the job, and we've got the facts for you about when this is all going to break up, and we'll have some staggering snow totals for you when we get back in just a moment.
Chi-Chi's knows you love chicken. So we stuffed it into an enchilada, rolled it into a taquito, and grilled it Tex-Mex style. Chi-Chi's Chicken Trio Olay, just $7.99. And right now, the same low price includes our delicious sopapillas dessert. What a sweet deal.
Celebration of food.
Attention thieves, flimsy locks on doors. Fencing back is so high, nobody can see you. Easy access windows, take your time.
It's the obvious but overlooked things that attract burglars to your house. To help make your home burglar-proof, see your Allstate agent. You're in good hands with Allstate.
This new segment is sponsored in part by Integra Bank.
If you're like most people, you need more than a penny for your thoughts. Because the things you think about cost a whole lot more. And you know if you had the money, you could really make something out of it. Well, now you can get the money for the things you want from Integra Bank. Because Integra Bank has the loans you need for times like these. To coin a phrase.
This is Channel 11, Carnegie Science Center weather.
And good evening once again. Can you believe they did that St. Patrick's Day parade? That gives new meaning to snowing to beat the band, I want to tell you that. Here's what we've got for you. That says 17%. That's actually 17 degrees, the current temperature right now. North winds are at 22, gusting to 36. That's producing a wind chill value of 23 below zero. You saw our friend Kevin Benson out there in it. 100% relative humidity, and the pressure is holding steady. All right, let's take a gander at some temperatures, shall we? And we have, some snow amounts for you, all right? Staggering stuff. This is an estimated 25 inches for Pittsburgh. The last official measurement was up to 24 out of the storm here, and that was about an hour or so ago. So let's say we're up to 25 inches at Pittsburgh International Airport. We got 18 from Beaver Falls, 20 Lindora, 18 in Oil City, in Latrobe 20 inches. Now here's one that is a little soft here, 13 inches in Ligonier, down a little bit. The top of Laurel Mountain reports 30 inches of accumulation so far. Connellsville 21, Morgantown at 20 inches, and in Moundsville, West Virginia, 21 inches of snow. And we want to thank all of our weather watchers for keeping us up to date on snow totals around the region. All right, take a gander at this thing. This is a major storm. I mean, it's like watching a hurricane, and there it goes, wrapping up and still spinning snow around the area. We can take a little glance at the radar here, and you can see that it's beginning to loosen its grip down in the south. The storm still spreading some significant snows across the area. However, the heaviest amounts of snow will be east of the mountains in the overnight period. but we'll still pick up a few inches here. Here's the forecast from Channel 11 and the Carnegie Science Center now. It is snow, an additional 4 to 6 more, gusty winds and a low of 14 degrees. Our winds have been in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range. They've had top wind gust at 42 out at the airport. Tomorrow, we're looking at the snow kind of diminishing during the day. By midday, it'll be a high of 18 degrees, bitter cold wind chill values, about 15 to 30 below zero. Tomorrow night's low is going to be 8 degrees. Variable clouds on Monday, a high of 34. A chance of rain or snow showers moving in Tuesday. And it looks like we could hit some more snow, believe it or not, on Wednesday of next week with a high of 32. Variable clouds, flurries Thursday, and a high of 34 degrees. And that pretty much tells the tale there for this winter storm. Margaret?
Thanks very much, Dennis. As Dennis showed you on the map, the snow is hitting all across the country along the eastern portion of the coast. It is not just Pittsburgh. In fact, we have been concentrating on what's going on in our area, but we need to point out to you that this storm has been devastating in other states as well. And right now, the death toll associated with this storm is at 29. Well, if you're looking outside your window at all of this snow and you're thinking, gee, I really should get out there and shovel, you may want to think twice about doing that. Last time we had a big snowfall, several people died while shoveling. The Allegheny County Health Department is urging people over the age of 55 not to shovel. Doctors say if you have a respiratory problem or a history of heart disease, you should avoid shoveling. If you do shovel, they say take real small shovelfuls so that you don't get tired, and be sure to take frequent breaks. Another reminder for you tonight, for all of you who have pets, don't forget about them. A number of people have been calling our newsroom asking us to remind you that pets, too, need to be inside and safe and warm. Well, we will have the latest information, everything you need to know about the blizzard just ahead as our Channel 11 News team coverage of the storm continues here on the Night Beat.
And I'm Derek Gunn. We've got more canceled sports than you can imagine, and some events that got started never were finished. Coming up more in sports.
Paul was a fighter. He made his own breaks. We celebrated a lot of pay raises, and he earned every one of them. He's been gone 3 years. He died right before interest rates started going down. But I know him. He wouldn't just sit around and accept smaller and smaller monthly income from our investments. No, sir. He'd get out there, ask questions, and get us a better return. So, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting good advice from someone I can trust. Someone who is looking out for me. Don't worry, honey. We're not going to sit still for any pay cut.
Legg Mason. It's time.
On this job, you can't do a story until you get the facts. So when I heard about Rogaine with minoxidil, I wanted to get all the facts for myself. It's a story a lot of women will want to know about. If you're one of them, the Upjohn Company has a number you can call to find out. 1-800-666-8288. When you call, Upjohn will send you a free informative brochure that will answer your questions about Rogaine. And because only a doctor can prescribe Rogaine, they'll also offer you a list of doctors in your area who can tell you if Rogaine is right for you. They'll even send you a certificate worth $10 as an incentive to see a doctor. Get the story about Rogaine with minoxidil. To find out the facts for yourself, call 1-800-666-8288 for your informative brochure, list of doctors, and your $10 certificate. Get the facts. Make the call now.
Well, it's been an easy night for our sports department.
I've never done a cast like this. I have more cancellations than I have final scores tonight now. Wow. The Penns-Isles game scheduled for today in New York snowed out. They will play tomorrow, face-offs at 5:05 p.m. At the Spectrum, the Flyers and Kings were tied at 1 after 20 minutes of play, but the second and third periods were never played because the wind blew out a window on the concourse level of the building. Monday, they'll announce when that game will be rescheduled. Also canceled today, Rangers at Washington. Now, as for games that were played, Calgary beat New Jersey. Boston doubles up Ottawa. In overtime, Buffalo and Hartford skate to a 3-all tie. Quebec over Montreal, and in the third, St. Louis by 4 over Minnesota. The weather has knocked things out of sync up and down the East Coast. The Pirates Cards game scheduled for today in St. Petersburg canceled due to the rain. That was one of 9 exhibition encounters washed out in Florida today. Now, the local weather has also forced postponement of some WPIAL basketball games today, championship games. The boys' Quad A and AA finals, along with the girls' Quad A and AAA games, will now be played on Monday. One game was played, though, today. It was the AA girls' finals, and it was Geibel over Sarah Catholic by 20 points. In college hoops, it will be Seton Hall versus Syracuse in tomorrow's Big East title game, as Seton Hall beat Providence by 9 and Syracuse beat St. John's by 12. Now, by the way, Syracuse is on probation and not eligible for the NCAA tournament. If the Orange wins the Big East title, it could reduce the number of teams from that conference that might get consideration for the tournament. In Charlotte, top-ranked North Carolina met Virginia at the ACC semis, and early in the second half, a power outage delayed action for 29 minutes. When they resumed play, the Tar Heels hit a power surge, led by Donald Williams, who scored 19 points. Carolina blew by the Cavs by 18 points, and they will meet Georgia Tech, an 8-point winner over Clemson. In the SEC, LSU upsets Vanderbilt. They will meet Kentucky, a winner over Arkansas. In the Big 8, K-State upsets Kansas, and K-State will now meet Missouri, who beat Iowa State. In the MCC finals, it was Evansville by 11 over Xavier. And the final score here in the Great Midwest Conference game, it was Cincinnati holding off Memphis State 77-72, and that'll do it on a very brief Sports Nights.
Okay. All right. Nice and short and sweet. Yeah. Thanks. Well, before we go to recapping, we would like to look at the blizzard of 1993. The snowstorm has dumped up to 24 inches of snow in our area. Kevin Benson is outside right now for a final look at the snow. Kevin.
Okay, Margaret. Folks, I have to brace myself against that wind that is really coming right out of the north now, and that had to be about a 40-mile-per-hour gust there. It's still snowing. The snow is blowing, and it's drifting. And beyond the blowing and drifting, the wind chill factor has to be down like 20, 25 degrees below zero. We at Channel 11 are here to help you get through this thing. We'll provide to you all the information you need to know, and we'll also remind you that we're not here to alarm anyone. We're just here to remind you to be cautious and be careful. And together, we should be able to get through this thing, the blizzard of 1993, without any casualties. But do be aware of the fact that it is going to be, well, it's going to be blizzard conditions right on through about midday tomorrow. And again, we'll be here with the latest forecasts for you. Let's go back inside now to Margaret Shortridge.
Thanks very much, Kevin. You know, you can't say it enough. We say it a lot. Some people just don't want to, but you should. Stay home. Stay inside, stay warm, and stay safe. Our next full report begins at 8 a.m. with a special expanded edition of Channel 11 News Sunday morning. For Derek Gunn, Dennis Bowman, Kevin Benson, and the entire news team who's busy working during this blizzard, I'm Margaret Shortridge. We'll have news every hour on Pittsburgh's only 24-hour news source. Good night, everyone, and thanks for joining us.
Basically, it's a matter of two elements. Number one, the snow. Number two, the wind. Snow, for all practical purposes, the big snow is over. In western Pennsylvania, we may end up with another 2 or 3 inches of snow. You're going to have a lake effect situation kick in behind this thing. Now, in the mountains, over to the east of Pittsburgh and to the north, it's not out of the question that you could see another 3 to 6 inches of snow. So the big-time snowfall amounts are over. Most areas have over 2 feet of snow down. Pittsburgh with 24 inches down, of course, 2 feet. Latrobe reporting 3 feet of snow down, and as the wind continues to blow, the wind is going to be the big factor today because it's going to have sub-zero wind chill factors out there for you, and it's going to really be drifting and blowing that snow around, causing low visibility. And also, once the plow goes by, it's not going to be very long until the wind just plows the road shut again. Again, as you can see, we can show you just quite clearly the whole progression of this storm. It starts down here in the Gulf region, and take a look at where it's headed. Right across the Gulf Coast states with snow down in this territory, and you know as it rolled its way across our region what it did to us here, and it continues to move its way to the north and to the east. So gradually it's moving away from us, but it is going to be cold. It's only like 11 degrees out there now with